Alrighty, welcome everybody, or anybody who's there. According to the chat list, nobody's here yet, so that's fine. I'm gonna change that to that. So I'm going to be continuing my live streams today. I have a bunch of things open here. Close them down first. And then going to just quickly check on the Twitch stream. Make sure that it is streaming. Yeah, that seems to be working. Okay, good. All right. So last week, if you joined me last week, I created a plugin using Cursor. I've since spent quite a bit more time on Cursor, and I've learned a bunch of things about how it works and what it does. But during the course of this week, somebody pointed out something called Continue to me. And Continue is sort of another, AI coding assistant. But it works within PhpStorm, and it might be able to give us a similar experience as Cursor. I much prefer using PhpStorm. I just think it's a better IDE overall, especially for PHP development. So I'm quite keen to try out Cursor Continue today. The goal for today, I have set up a demo site with all of the content from my personal website. So it has a whole bunch of posts from since I started blogging. And so I'm going to use that to test the plugin that I created last week. So let's go and find that quickly. Where is that? Is this WP to Markdown exporter? So the plan is I'm going to test it with the plugin, and then what I remember last week was the Markdown conversion wasn't great. So I'm going to just test it with my post, see if I confirm that there are some bugs, and then focus on one thing and then try and fix that same thing using Cursor and see what that generates for us. So we'll need to create a branch for that. And then do the same thing and continue. So the goal is to compare the two and see what output we get. See which one is better, experiment with Continue, see what it's like, see how it compares to Cursor, all that sort of thing. It's also worth noting that since my last live stream, Cursor had an upgrade, and a few of the things where it was giving me trouble seem to have been fixed, which is good. I also discovered some settings. I'm going to see if I can find those settings quickly. So in the Cursor forums, there was a There was actually, I went searching and there was actually a post about Cursor expecting PowerShell as the default terminal. And so there was actually a fix that was suggested around doing some settings. And when I implemented, I just see someone's posted a question about where the settings.json file is. I might want to reply to them in a second, help them. But when I implemented these settings in my settings.json, that in fact seemed to work. So we're comparing Cursor currently, not Cursor of last week. And we're going to see what Continue.dev looks like. So first and foremost, let's check out the project. I'm going to stick it in the test demo site that I've got. So that's going to be demo site there. Okay, perfect. So let's clone the project. I don't think I've got any branches. No, I don't have any branches. Okay, so studio sites. Oh, it's just in there already. Demo site, we're already there. WP content plugins. Clone this plugin. And then we'll activate the plugin. That's great. I'm just going to turn my personal headset volume down a bit. If you're watching this and you're finding the background audio to be too loud, let me know. Or if you can't hear the music, let me know, because it should be piping through. But I have some issues with it sometimes. All right, so now let's use the plugin, export to Markdown. We'll get all the posts. We'll add the prefix, we'll export to Markdown. Okay, 192 posts, that's great. Let's download the export. I'm just going to stick it. Okay, there's some older exports on my desktop, so I'm going to delete those. That's how you delete things. Deleted, so I'll just store it to my desktop. Okay. It's done. Let's export the zip. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of files. And let's have a look and see what those look like. So for now, let's just open up that repository, that directory. It's fine. All right. Okay, so these are my early posts, 2008 is when I started blogging. Let's go to some of the more recent ones. Okay. So there's definitely some content here. What I am noticing is I do think, let me just check on now. This is interesting. I'm probably not going to see images if images exist on these posts. Yeah. Because the featured images are not going to be in the media library. I wonder if there's a way for me to grab them from my hosting quickly. I'm going to just take a window offline here so I can log in to my hosting platform. I host with Pressable. I don't mind sharing that information. I just don't want you to see my logins. So this is my Pressable dashboard. Let me see if I can... I suppose I could FTP in. That's an option. I'm trying to grab all those images. I wonder FTP will probably be the quickest. I think I still have a FileZilla connection. Let me see if I do. Again, I'm just going to take this off screen in case I need to do passwords and things. Let me see if my FileZilla connects. Yep, that seems to be connecting. So that's good. That's good news. You can't see what I'm doing here because I'm doing it off screen, but I will soon bring it back just so that you can see what I'm up to. I'm trying to find that. Things I should have done before the time. Okay, so let's go to uploads. I'm just going to grab the last few years worth of uploads. Shouldn't take too long. Let's just grab all the year uploads. Because I just want the images. So let's grab 2024, 2025. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 2021. It seems to be... Apparently I only started adding images at around 2015, which kind of makes sense, actually. Let's hope this doesn't take too long to download. How many files have we got here? 231. That shouldn't take too long. All right, so I'm going to let that download. While that's downloading, I'm going to go and configure Continue in my PhpStorm. And then I'll come back to checking out the Markdown content. So for now, let's open the demo site. Hey, Corey. All right. So I have Copilot installed. There's Continue. There's Copilot. Okay, I think I need to disable Copilot. Because it's probably going to give me hassles with. So let's go and disable GitHub Copilot. Okay, so let's disable that. Fine, okay. Restart PhpStorm. Check on images. Oh, there's 1,600 images, so that's going to take a while. Oh well. Right. I don't actually need the images. I just need the paths. No problem, Corey. I kind of forced myself into experimenting because I like playing with new toys. So it's definitely worth diving into when you have some free time. Okay, so I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking I'm going to pause the image downloads for a second. Because that's like 3,000 files. That's going to take forever. I just don't have time for that. However, if we go back to these projects, let's open it in a new window. What would be a good idea? So let's take any one of these posts, especially the more recent ones. I actually realized there's something that I wanted to do. I thought about it the other day, and now I haven't added it to my brain. What would be cool is if... let's go back one page. When it downloads the Markdown, what would be cool is if it could check if there is a featured image set, which the image doesn't actually exist on my local install, but it's got a featured image set. It could get that featured image, the URL, the currently stored one, and also get the category that the WordPress post belongs to, and store them in a comment at the top of the Markdown file. I think that could be a cool feature to add. So that means we're not worrying about fixing bugs, we're talking about adding a feature. It's easier, it's more scoped. It's easier to set requirements and see what the code does. So I just want to double check. Markdown meta comments. I think you can just use HTML comments in Markdown. You could also use I know there's somewhere that I saw, and I've done this myself a few times, where you like store metadata in the top of the Markdown file. Yeah, standard HTML tag, that's right. It's not perfect Markdown, but I think it would work for our requirements. So I feel like this would be a good way to do this. So my thinking is that what we're going to work towards, and I'm going to open up one of these files, is something like this. So we'll have a comment, and it can be something like featured image, and then the path to the image, blah, and then categories, and then the categories listed. It doesn't have to be the IDs, it can just be the slugs or the category names or something. So I'm just kind of thinking about the sort of the metadata that exists around a post. So featured image is a good one, categories is a good one. I don't think I'm using tags. I'm not really using tags. Publish date might be cool, but the date's already included in the there, so don't think that's super necessary. Maybe the author. Author might not be a bad idea. Yeah, so maybe we'll add the author as well. So let's make it a very specific requirement. So author name, whatever the case was. We'll do it like that. Whether or not this is useful to anybody, I have no idea, but it gives us a nice scoped feature that we can work on. And a specific set of requirements, and then we can take it from there. Okay, so I think that's a good plan for today. I'm going to copy this out. I don't think I copied that, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's start with cursor. Let us open up the project and go to the demo site and go to the plugin and find the plugin directory. No, that wasn't what I wanted. Blast. I wanted to open up. Your free trial has ended. I don't know why it's saying that. I wanted to open up specifically the WordPress install. So let's say folder. Let's go back to the demo site. Okay. Here we go. Plugins. Where am I? Plugins. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I don't know why it gave me that issue about pro trials and things. I'm currently signed in. So there's two things to note here. I created myself a brand new account. I have the Psychotech domain name that I've had for years that I use for testing and mostly. And I signed it up today for a pro trial, very specifically. So I have 50 fast requests and I have 200 50 premium models and 200 GPT 4.0 mini or cursor small. So I'm going to try and build this thing. This is another reason why I want the feature to be very scoped and very small, is I want to try and do it within the premium models range. So hopefully we can do it within 50 requests. Because I kind of want to compare the premium model plan, if you will, of the two options. I have no idea what the options are in Continue, but I want to focus on the premium version of Cursor and whatever the premium trial that they give you for Continue is. Maybe I should do Continue first to see what they offer. That's actually not a bad idea. So maybe I'll do that. And then depending on what Continue gives us, then we'll compare. I want to basically compare apples with apples. So that's another reason I'm using the Psychotech domain, this email address. So it's a testing email that I have. You're welcome to email me on it. I never check that inbox, but it does exist as an email address. Okay. There is actually, I think there's actually a domain name, or a site somewhere sitting still. I think, yes, there it is. I've got a base WordPress site installed that I literally just use it for testing. Okay. So next, let's focus on PhpStorm. And let's open up the demo site. And now let's use Continue. Now, if you joined me last week, you will remember there are some rules that I'm following. And so I'm trying to specifically use these tools only. Okay, today it's cursor. We're going to be adding Continue to it. But the goal is there are some rules that I've set for myself. I'm not allowed to write any code. I'm allowed to review the code that it generates, but I'm not allowed to write code. So it's got to suggest code for me. I am allowing myself to run terminal commands, primarily to do git commits and git pushes, because I was having that terminal issue with cursor. That should be fixed now. So I should actually be able to let the AI tool do all of that for me as well. But the goal is to write as little code as possible. So we're going to be clicking buttons today and hopefully writing very little code, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so Continue starts up. Continue's using Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is what Cursor uses as well by default, if I'm not mistaken. Claude as well, so that's good because we're using the same base models. I think you can switch between other chat models. There's something about an API key. I think you need to specify a Claude API key for your Continue, so we might have to create an account there, which is fine. They say, yeah, quickly get up and running using our API keys. After this trial, we'll help you set up your own models. Okay, that's cool. To prevent abuse, we ask you to sign into GitHub. That should be easy. I can sign in with my personal account, and then I should get the free trial. I don't want to sign into Cursor with my GitHub account because I think I already have, and I think I've already used some of that. Like I was testing with multiple different accounts, so I wanted to try and be as clean as possible. I see there's an option for best experience, so that you can prefer a different provider. So I would then need to go and sign up for those. You see, now I'm starting to not compare apples with apples. So one way to look at it is we could say this is the out-of-the-box experience. Maybe that's the way to look at it. So we want to get the apples to apples, but out-of-the-box experience. So I just want to get started. So let's maybe I'll do a base experience afterwards. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's get started using the Continue API keys. So we will need a GitHub token. It's going to ask me to sign in. Fortunately, I can use my authenticator app. I'll use my password because my password won't be visible. Thank you to 1Password. You're welcome to guess, but it's that many dots. Okay, so Continue free trial, expiration 30 days, that's perfect. I don't know if I need any scopes. Maybe, oh, the scopes are already set. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, this I'm going to take off screen because this is going to generate a token that somebody else could use. So I'm going to take that off screen. And I'm going to copy that token. And then I'm probably going to paste it into here somewhere. I'm trying to see if this is protected. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to take this off screen as well, because I don't want you all stealing my token. So I'm going to pop that in there. And now I am using their APIs. Okay, it looks like they're still using Claude Sonnet, so that's cool. So I am still getting the sort of apples to apples experience, which is great. It's opened up a Python file, which is a weird experience. So obviously there's an assumption that if you're using these tools, you're writing Python, which clearly I'm not, but that's fine. So that is interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. So now let's start writing some code. So I've got 50 requests. I've got this roughly the same amount of requests as I've got in Cursor. So let's see. What I want includes, I want content, plugins. There. I'm going to open up my requirements. I'm going to open up my instructions. If you missed my live stream last week, that's where I created these things. I do recommend checking out that live stream. It's on my YouTube channel. I talk about how how I created that process. Submit with the code base as context. Okay. So I'm going to start by saying, now I have some cursor rules set up that I've used for development in Cursor. It's a good idea to use cursor rules, but I want to take them out now because I don't want... Continue doesn't have these rules right now. So either I need to figure out whether I can add them to Continue or I need to take them out of Cursor. So let's see if there's a way to add them to Continue. Indexing in process. Okay. All right. Okay. What does this do? Add context. Tools. Read file. Create new file. Okay, so let's add some context. Let's add requirements, instructions, and let's add the WordPress to Markdown exporter. Yeah, this is just painful. Okay, so it started. Yeah, okay. So focus only on the WP to MD exporter plugin. And let's say, oh, the Twitch chat is covering some of the window I'm talking about. I do apologize for that. Let me move the chat. Oh, wrong window. Let me move the chat over to the other side for now. Because the file structure is not, I will put that down here. And you can see some of the file structure and you can still see what I'm doing. Or I could, actually what I could do is I could move, no, I'm moving the wrong screen again. What I could do is I could move the chat over here and I could move myself over there. There we go. That's a bit better. Now you can see the chat and the window I'm working. Probably gonna have to move things around if this gets bigger, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Corey, for pointing that out. So we'll say focus only on the importer plugin, exporter plugin. Please read the files in context. Please read the files in context. I always say please. I'm just gonna actually stop being polite. Read the files in context as well as the rest of the plugin files to get an understanding of the plugin features and functionality. Don't write any code yet, as I will be providing the feature we will be working with today. Again, I need to remember that because I need to do the same thing with Cursor. So let's see what this does. Okay, review the provided files. I'm going to move the chat over so that you can see what's happening there. Okay, WordPress plugin, convert posts and custom post types to Markdown, generate subfiles, manage exports, main plugin, functional classes, admin interface, all good. Coding standards, best practices, property security measures, performance considerations, basic plugin structure, setup, plugin, Okay, ready to serve. I do feel like when the Cursor agent says something like, I'm ready to help implement any specific feature, it'd be great to have that ready to serve from like Warcraft 2. Okay, So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to cut all of my cursor rules out. I'm going to stick them in a simple note somewhere so I can get back to them later. But I want cursor and continue to have the same context. So if cursor rules exist in cursor, continue doesn't have them. So we'll go from there. All right. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to copy all of the prompts that I'm sending to continue, and I'm going to send the same prompts to cursor, because otherwise we're not doing a apples to apples test. So I'm just going to pop, no, that's not what I want. I need this. I switch between a Mac and a Linux workstation, and so I have to keep reminding myself about control and all of that. And we gave it the main file. Okay. Okay, cool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to specify what the feature is that I want to build. I'm going to ask it to create a branch to start preparing for the feature. And then I'm going to sorry, I'm just typing something on the screen. Okay, there's my notes. And then I'm going to ask it to start developing. So let's go with first create a Git branch to develop the new feature. The feature will be to add some specific data about the post into a comment area of the markdown file, similar to storing some metadata about the post. Create the Git branch and start suggesting how to implement the feature. Okay. While that's thinking, I'm a copy. Paste. Okay. So I'll help you create the branch and plan the feature implementation. First, let's create a branch with a descriptive name. So we're going to go feature add markdown metadata. We might have a duplicate for this when we go to cursor, so we'll have to be aware of that. That's fine. Let's apply that. I have no idea if that did anything. For implementing the metadata feature, here's what I suggest. The metadata should be stored at the top of the markdown. Oh, that's right. It's 3 dots. That's right. I remember that. 3 dots, three dashes. In YAML front matter format. Which is a common standard markdown files. Cool. Okay. It would look something like this. Okay. So we've got title, date, author name, post ID, post, and permalink. I mean, that's not a bad suggestion. We'll need to modify that, decide which fields, ensure the data is formatted and escapes. Add this as a configurationable option to the admin interface. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Would you like me to start implementing this specific part of the feature? I suggest starting with converter class modifications, since that's what the core conversion logic will happen. That's fair. I want to check whether the branch actually was created. So let's open the terminal and go to nope, still on the main branch. Didn't quite handle that. That's fine. So let us... Now, I wonder if that's because I'm in the WordPress directory. Anyway, let's do it ourselves. Cool. And now it's actually made some changes, so let's see what changes it's made. What am I doing? Doesn't look like it's changed much. Oh, it's like added some comments. Okay. All right, that's fine. I'm not going to worry too much about that, but anyway. So that was interesting. Didn't create the branch correctly. That's fine. But now we're there. All right. So let's see what it said here. It said, would you like to start with implementing a specific part? I'd suggest starting with the converter class modifications. I mean, that seems to be a logical suggestion. So let's say start with the converter class modifications. Now, one of the things that I don't enjoy about coding in one of these tools in the screen size that I'm coding in now, which is for live streams, is I have it set to 1920 by 1080. It means everything's very big, and so I can't see everything that's going on. But let's see what it does. Okay, I'll help create the converter class. Kids, wasn't there already a converter class? There was already a converter class. Why is it trying to create something? Okay. Creates the class. Includes the helper for my metadata, basic metadata fields, escapes to test this, create a person, WordPress, instantiate the class, pass, blah. Okay. Now, is it suggesting I make this class? I'm already finding this less useful than what cursor was. I don't know now if I need to create the class or... Okay. Let me see here. Ah, can't spell today. It hasn't made any changes to that class. So how do I... So there I can click apply. Maybe apply? Okay, here we go. Okay. So that's interesting. Cursor does that by default. Continue expects me to hit the apply button. So that's an interesting little difference. Cursor just goes ahead and does it. So I wonder if there's something I need to be aware of there. I also just remembered I haven't copied out step, so I'm going to pop that in. No, that's not what I want. It does feel like continue is slower. Feels like it took a long time to do all of this. That's okay. All right, so it's done that. It looks like I have to accept every single one. Doesn't seem to be a way to just say accept all. which is cool because, whoa, what just happened there? Because it gives you the opportunity to inspect the code and see what it's doing. So I don't have a massive problem with that. It's making suggestions that are weird because I'm pretty sure that was the same. Oh, there's a full stop. It's removing the full stop, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. I think coding standards wise it's not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I wish there was a way that I could just say, yes, accept all of these things. Maybe it shouldn't be there. I don't know. Okay, so keyboard shortcuts are pretty cool, so I can... What happens if I just... That wasn't what I wanted. It's Option Shift Y, which I think is Control Shift Y on this keyboard. Is it Alt? Okay. Oh, okay, I can use the keyboard shortcut to accept it with it. Okay, alright. It's weird that I have to do that. But okay, it's different to cursor. I saw some problems. Okay. Alright. It's different. Gotta get used to it. Okay. Alright, so that's that done. Okay, would you like me to add the HTML to Markdown conversion functionality? Create a test file, add more metadata fields, something else. Okay, let's say I'm going to leave the metadata. Let's reconfigure the metadata fields. Export only the following data as the metadata for the post. So title, no, not title, publish date, author, featured image, and list of categories, comma, separated. So let's say update the functionality. Date the functionality to export only the following data as the metadata of the post. Title, publish date, or the cool. So we will do that. You'll notice as well I spelled functionality incorrectly. I have a tendency of spelling words wrong. The AI is pretty good at determining what I mean when I spell things wrong, I've discovered. So it's pretty good at going, oh, you meant this, and then doing something else. So let's see what that does. Okay, so one of the differences I've noticed, it seems to suggest the whole file. It doesn't show you the changes yet. Cursor has this really cool way of showing you what changes it's suggesting, and then it shows you in the file, and then you go through the file and you can make those changes. This one does the whole thing. It does give you decent output, which is good. It's updated what I asked it to do. So let's apply. I wonder what inserted cursor means. I have no idea. Okay, so it's running through, it's making the changes. Looks like it's adding some space there. It's updating the metadata. Implement actual HTML to Markdown conversion. Why is it doing that? I didn't ask it to do that. It's actually making a change to how the data so I'm going to say don't make changes to the existing convert content to Markdown function. This is something I have noticed with these AI bots, is they will actually make changes to existing code. And this is something that I think Leo brought up last time about like locking down the file and saying, you know, and so a good thing to do, this is a little tip that I started doing and I forgot to do today, is to actually say, don't make changes to existing functionality, like early on in your session. Because you can end up with problems. You can end up, I've had it where like things that I added gets removed. So you do need to specify and say, don't make changes to existing functionality. That's all the metadata stuff. That's fine. Clean the content before conversion. Handle WordPress blocks conversion. You see, I don't want any of that. Don't make any changes to the existing functionality that converts the post content to Markdown. Focus only on the adding the new functionality. That's annoying. So let's see what that does. You're right, of course. You're right. Yeah, why didn't you do that from the word go? Okay, so let's apply that. Ooh, IDE errors. Fun times. I think it's because I've got all of this stuff happening. It doesn't like that. Cursor would handle this better. I can tell you that right now. I think I just broke it. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to accept all of these changes. No, it was Alt-Shift-Y. Accept all of those changes. Then I can apply these changes. Cursor would have definitely handled that better. And we'll see that when we get back to Cursor. So let's copy that out and see if this was even necessary when we work in Cursor. Okay, all right. Okay, let's hope that it has done what I've asked it to do. Looks like we're okay. So see, okay, so let's accept all of that. Would you like me to show you how this integrates with existing conversion process? No. Want to test this. Modify the format, measure, add validation, something else. Let's test this. Let's see what this does. Okay, so we've got our plugin. We should have some diffs. Yeah. So let us go back to our desktop and delete all of those. And let's go back to errors. It broke. No such file. Markdown exporter. Dearie me. What did you do? You silly app. Warning, required. There's a queue there somewhere. Why is there a queue there? Is that me? No. Failed to open. Oh. Okay, so now this is where things could go wrong, because, not go wrong, but this is where we could start having interesting things, because the instructions might converge depending on what the two different AIs do. So what we will do is we'll make a note and say, we encountered an error at this point. Okay, so now we're going to give it the error to fix. When I test this, I see the following error. Too many requests, rate exceeded. Really? I think I broke it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Should we try a new window? Let's try a new session. The WP to MD exporter plugin. I get the following error. Here's the error. Didn't hit the right button. Now I need you to do this for me, you stupid piece of 4-letter word. Okay, I am not having a good time with Continue at the moment. Certainly not compared to Cursor. I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to commit this. Continue attempt at adding the metadata feature. And I may or may not come back to this and try and fix it later, but I'm not very impressed with Continue, to be honest, out of the box. Out of the box experience, not great for generating code, for trying to add a feature compared to Cursor. Git push origin, I think it's set upstream something. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to say git push origin set upstream to feature add markdown metadata. No, I did that wrong. Push origin set upstream. Set upstream. Okay, just set upstream. I learned this today, literally. Usually I get push origin and then I pass in just the branch, and then it doesn't set the upstream. Discovered this today. All right, so we have the branch. It's currently broken. I may or may not come back to this. I'm honestly not too impressed at the moment. So I'm going to go do this in Cursor now. So let's go back to main. That's all good. Let's shut down Continue. Okay, and let's clear this, and let's go back to Cursor. Now I'm expecting Cursor to be a much better experience. So this is the default out-of-the-box pro trial experience, 14-day pro trial. I haven't given it any rules. So I'm going to close this. You can see the rules are empty. So this is like if this was a clean install. So now I'm going to start giving it the same context. So I'm going to give it the instructions and the requirements. So there's the instructions. Let's add the requirements. There we go. And then let's also add the WordPress to Markdown exporter. So I'll go to the main plugin file. I've just thrown my mouse around. Main plugin file, requirements and instructions. Okay. And now we're going to start copying the same. Focus only on that plugin. Read all the files in the context. Same story. Okay, focus only on the plugin. Read all the files in the context of what are the rest of the plugin files. Get understand the plugin features and functionality. Don't write any code yet, as I will be providing the feature we'll be working with today. So let's see what happens. Now, as you can see, already Cursor has a better understanding of what's going on. It's got the plugin purpose, it's got the current implementation status, so it has figured out the plugin structure, singleton pattern, hooks, plan structure. It's able to understand things better, first of all. Okay, so now first create a get branch to develop the new feature. Okay, there we go. Now it's going to be interesting to see what. Okay, so the add post metadata comments. So the branch name. Okay, so the branch name is different, which is great. Select the code. Cool. So the brand name is different, so that's perfect. Creates a new converter class to handle content conversion and metadata. Okay, interesting. So it's creating a converter class, same as what the other one was doing. Uses YAML front matter format, fine. Includes key post metadata, provides a structure, next step, implement that, update the class, add tests, add filters, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So now this is what I like about Cursor, is I can see an abbreviated version of the stuff here. I can open it up to see the full implementation. I can go open up the class converter here, and I'll be able to see, is that the file? Yeah, here we go. Here's the post to markdown, post metadata. So you see it's only focusing on the changes we need. So already I feel like this is a better solution. So I can accept this from here. Done. I don't have to use keyboard things or whatever. Happy days. Okay, I'm not going to look at coding standards things now. I haven't told it about coding standards. They would be sitting in my Cursor rules, different situation. I'm comparing the core experience based on an existing project. Okay, so that's done that. So now let's use the next instruction. Start with the converter class modifications. Okay. So now this is where things get different, because this has already done the converter class. Uses the YAML format, includes the keys, provides the structure. So now it's actually implement the actual HTML to Markdown conversion logic, update the exporter class to use this new converter. So already things are slightly different. So let's just see what happens if we use the same start with the converter class modifications. Let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, so it's functionality, Okay. Okay, so it's done some work there. It looks good. It's already got those, it's already got that. Okay, so that's possible. So let's accept all of that. This looks a lot better to me. If I look through it, what it's doing seems to be better. So I'm going to accept all this. I feel like this is going to give me a better solution. Okay, so it's done all of that. So now update the functionality to export only the following metadata. Okay. Okay, that also seems good to me. Just looking through the code. The thing that it's doing is updating the metadata. It doesn't seem to be affecting any original functionality, so that seems good. So now I don't feel like I need to run this line. I feel comfortable to test this now. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's see. So let's go back to admin. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. So I'm already not getting errors, so that's a good thing. Let's go back and check plugins. Plugins are there, that's cool. What I should do is open up my debugging app and just see if there are any hidden errors that I'm not aware of. So let's do that. I don't need stickies. Where's my debugger app? It's not working anymore. Oh, there we go. So let me just open up that directory. Okay, I've got no errors in the log. Okay, let me just refresh this. Let's go back here. That all seems good. No current errors. So let's export to Markdown. Okay, let's download the export. We'll download it to the desktop. That's good. I'm going to open it up in PhpStorm again, just so we can separate it out from VS Code. Desktop. Let's open that up. And let's go to the most recent article. This is the one where I'm learning to code. Okay, so it hasn't actually done anything though. Hasn't broken anything, but it doesn't seem to have exported the metadata fields. But at least nothing broke, so now we can at least continue. So now, go back to cursor. Okay, would you like me to add formatting or make any other changes? Okay, so now we're actually getting to the testing process, and we can say, ooh, I wonder if the tests that were correct. So if you weren't here last week, this plugin actually, when we ran this last time, the cursor agent created some tests, so we can actually run the tests and see. It looks like the tests all passed as well. So there's definitely a bug somewhere. Okay. When testing the new functionality, let's just check debug log. No errors in the debug log. When testing the new functionality, the YAML metadata does not appear in the markdown files. So now it's checking the exporter class. Okay, so there's a reason for that. Okay, so now it's doing some changes. So and here, what I can do is I can read through these changes there, and then I can accept all. And this is a bonus feature in Cursor as far as I'm concerned. Like I could literally sit with my whole view open and just focus on what it's doing, and I could see what it's doing, and I can inspect the code here. I don't need the code window open when I'm using the cursor agent, so it's definitely a pro feature. So let's accept that, and let's test again. Okay, I'm going to delete the files from my desktop. Let's export to Markdown. Download the export. There we go. I want to see something here. Doesn't seem to be storing the previous exports anymore. That's a feature that went missing somewhere. I'm going to have to figure that one out. But let's have a look and see what is in the zip. So let's open this one. There we go. So that works. That is a feature that is fixed. The plugin used to have a previous exports option. I'm not sure whether this pull request has lost that, or if we didn't commit it last week. Maybe we didn't commit it last week. I can't remember, to be honest. But let's commit now. Here's the fun part. Please create a commit message for this feature. For the entire feature that was added during this session. And this is my favorite part about AI coding tools. I hate writing commit messages. Please commit all the recent changes with that commit message. And this should just work. Oh, it's because it's in the wrong place. Ensure to run the commands in the context of the WP plugins, WP content plugins directory as you're in the root of a WordPress install. Always forget to tell it that. Okay, so now we can just go that. It's done it separately. That's annoying. Okay, I'll do this myself manually. So this would be cool if it did it for me. It's because I need to figure this one out in a better way. It's because I'm not inside the root of the plugin. That's why it doesn't work. I'm kind of okay with that because that's my weird way of doing things. But I can at least copy. Am I going to be able to copy, paste? Yeah, probably not. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Still in the wrong directory. cd op2 MD exporter. Okay. Let's copy, paste. This whole running terminal commands thing is still not perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy the commit message, switch back to here, get status. Okay, that's all there. I just run it like this, git commit -a, because that adds all the files. Pop the commit in. So that's something I still need to figure out. It's still way better than having to write out the commit message yourself. And then it'll be git push origin set upstream. Where is it? Can't see it. Oh, I'm committing it to main. Damn it. Why did it not switch to the branch? I'm annoyed now. Oh well. I'm just going to push the changes. No, I don't want to push the changes. I need to roll this back. How do you roll back? How do you unstage a commit? How do you unstage a commit? Might as well ask the AI tool. Oh, git reset head -1. This will undo the commit while keeping the changes directory. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Cool. Now, where did it give us that? Yeah. Could have sworn that ran, but I guess it didn't. Also, probably didn't run it in the right directory. Probably the same problem. So that's definitely something I need to work on, figure out. What I need to figure out is how to tell the tool to run everything from the plugins directory, or the specific plugin directory. That's, I think, more of a me problem than the tool. It's a good thing to be aware of. Okay, so that's that. So now we can go git commit -a, grab commit message. And I'll be honest, the fact that I could just ask the cursor agent that without Googling it, because I always forget how to do that, it's kind of handy. Yes, commit, git push origin, set upstream, feature add post metadata comments. And we're done. So the long and the short of it is that right now, Continue's not quite there yet. I am interested to play with it a bit more, but I definitely feel like I'm more. I can achieve more with Cursor as is. It's a bit of a pity because I do prefer working in PhpStorm, even though they look very similar. I just prefer the PhpStorm environment. I like the fact, I suppose I could create a terminal button somewhere, but I like just the way PhpStorm is laid out. I like the PHP support, all of those things. So I think I'm going to continue experimenting with Continue. But it's not quite there yet. It's just, it doesn't give you the level of functionality that Cursor does. It would be interesting to see how the two tools compare when I actually am trying to write the code myself. So not using the agent to suggest the code, but to write the code. That might be a different experience. Maybe that's something to look into in a future scenario. But for pure feature development that I'm just letting the agent write the code for me, Cursor is still streets ahead. So do with that what you will if you're watching this, if you're thinking about Continue. Maybe in the next stream that I do, I'll think about what I can work on and compare the two in a different way. But when it comes to the Cursor agent versus the Continue agent, Cursor definitely does a better job. I would like to know why my previous exports are not working, so I'm actually going to ask Cursor. The previous exports functionality seems to have been lost somewhere. Did you remove that code? We accidentally removed and overwrote some of the existing export functionality when adding the metadata feature. Let's restore the core export functionality while keeping the new metadata features. Yes, please. That would be nice. So that's a top tip, folks. If you're using these tools, make sure you tell them up front, do not remove functionality unless I ask you. So let's go back here. Let's do another export. Still no previous exports. I wonder if I need to download it. So it has suggested some changes. So let's accept those and let's have a look. Ah, we've definitely broken that functionality. Oh, that's annoying. Flip. Let me see what it's done here. So let's go get status. Let's just get, I don't even know what the, let me see here. Create, commit message. I mean, it's not, but okay. Comments. Let's check out main. Do a pull. I mean, I had the most recent version of it, so it should be there. So let's go here. Okay, it looks like previous exports wasn't working somewhere along the line. So it's possible I broke it in the original version. It definitely was working somewhere when I was testing it. So that's fine. I'll allow it this time, but I'm gonna have to go back through the code and see. That's funny. Wonder if it's a problem with where it's exporting. I just don't have the brain capacity to try and figure this out now. Delete content, uploads. There's the exports. There's 335. There's O2. Oh no, that's fine. It's definitely creating them. Errors in the debug log? No. Okay, so uploads WP to MD to exports. Yes. Yes. There. Maybe that's the context it needs. Sorry, try some. Admin page is showing, is not showing the previous exports in the previous exports section. Let's see if I can fix it. Ah, it was removed. Why was it removed? Silly bot. Somebody the other day said to me they find the AI tool useful for writing their tests first. So that could be something interesting to look into the next time we do this. Let's write some tests, then write the functionality, then we keep running the tests. See if that helps this process. I'm just YOLOing it right now, to be honest. So no previous exports, still not working. Something's broken, and I couldn't be bothered to fix it now. So I'm going to commit this for now. No, I'm not. I'm going to figure this out another day when I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do. So, to summarize, Continue is not better than Cursor. Continue is kind of like what Cursor was when I first started using it. However, AI tools will delete existing functionality, so you need to make sure to tell them not to do that. I should have tested the plugin beforehand because it looks like the previous export was already broken. So that happened somewhere else last time I was doing this. And I didn't pick it up. So that's fun. Having tests in place would have definitely helped that. So writing tests is still a good practice, folks. AI tools will not get you away from writing good tests first. So maybe next week I'll write some tests for a plugin and then build the plugin. I definitely still like what the tool can do. I definitely still like how far it can get you, especially for building like quick standalone apps. I built a couple of apps already that just work. Whether the code is great or not, I don't know, but they work. But use them with your own discretion. Make sure you're looking at what they're doing. I'm not saying they're going to replace people writing code. Definitely not. It's just, it's interesting and it's good to fiddle with these things, play with these things, see what they can do. At the moment, my big benefits I see from these tools is generating commit messages, working out regexes, doing research on API requests. I managed to figure out a GraphQL request the other day for something that I need to work on. Very focused tasks which requires you to do research to figure out a solution to something. AI is perfect for that. But writing good quality code that doesn't easily break, it's not quite there yet. So developers, your jobs are not on the line. But start using these tools because they will make you more efficient in certain areas. They will help you speed up certain processes. The fact that I could just look up that git commit head one thing. I always have to go and Google that and figure out what the right answer is. The AI tool gave it to me and it worked. Don't know what I would have done if it didn't work, but it worked. So use it at your own discretion, folks. But yes, Cursor is still the king, if you will. But I'm interested to experiment and continue it more and see what I can do. All right, I'm going to call it there now. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning and I'm starting to feel that. My brain is starting to slow down, so I'm going to call it right there. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday and the rest of your weekend. And I will see you next week with some other AI coding experiment that I will come up with. If you have any ideas for things you want me to look into, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter or Blue Sky or LinkedIn or any one of those places. And we'll see what we do. Bye.